Hello and welcome, bienvenue back. I don't know why I'm butchering the French language today, but we're in API Days Paris, right? Thank you all for joining us. Did you bring your energy back? Are you going to bring questions and all? Well, we definitely have some experts about to join right now. So please come on stage. Some folks from Twilio, which is just, we've got both developer evangelist and senior product marketing manager to talk about the future of communication APIs. How are y'all doing today?
Hello, Jennifer. Thank you. I'm very good and excited to give this talk.
Okay, great.
Hi, Jennifer. Really happy to be here too.
Okay, great. We'll definitely connect afterwards. I think this will be very interesting for everyone. So if you can share your slides, please. And audience, just a reminder before I go, ask questions, be kind, share via hashtag API Days, and of course, Twilio. Thank you.
So hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation by Twilio. Today, we're going to talk a bit about what does the future of communication APIs look like. So today I am with, I am Valériane Venance, as Jennifer just introduced me. I am your developer evangelist based in Paris, and today I am with Alexandra.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexandra. I am part of the product marketing team here at Twilio, based in Paris, in France. And I'm super excited to be here and have this conversation with you, Valériane.
Thank you. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about Twilio, tell you a bit more about what it is. But just for you to know, it's a customer engagement platform powered by APIs. And actually, we come also with some news because we do have a developer conference that's called Signal, and it was a bit more than a month ago. And we had made big announcements there as well. So in order to see what does the future of communication APIs look like, let's see what's going to happen for Twilio in the next months. So Alex, back to you. Tell us a bit more about what is Twilio, please.
Yes, absolutely. So before actually getting into the future of our APIs when it comes to communications and some of the new features and products that we've launched and that we announced at Signal, what we wanted to do was just very quickly give you an overview of Twilio, who we are, how it works, just so you understand the context of the presentation. And to do that, I wanted to give you just a couple of examples to really show you how, even if potentially you don't know Twilio, you're probably interacting with our technology all the time. Our technology is actually embedded pretty discreetly among a lot of different brands. So just to give a first example, if you've ever taken an electric scooter around the city here in Paris, there are many of them with the brand Lime, for example. When you actually unlock that scooter and you take a trip around the city, Twilio's micro SIM cards are actually fully integrated into every single scooter. And Twilio is actually handling and managing the geolocalization of those scooters around the city and sending all that information back to Lime. Again, if you decide to have a conversation with your personal stylist, with Galeries Lafayette, for example, which is one of the biggest department stores, luxury department stores here in Paris, you can actually have that conversation with someone directly through WhatsApp. And that's thanks to Twilio. It's Twilio that's powering that conversation through WhatsApp. Again, if you decide to order some food for lunch through Phoenix and you receive an email in your inbox, it is Twilio that allowed you to receive that email and make sure that it ends up in your inbox and not in the spam box. And I'm sure we've all gotten an SMS before from our Uber driver telling us that they're downstairs, that they've arrived and they're waiting for us. That SMS was actually sent through Twilio. And the same goes if you've ever gotten a phone call from the person that is delivering your food through Deliveroo, for example, saying that they're downstairs with your meal. If you're able to have that conversation through your phone in a very secure way with the delivery person, it is thanks to Twilio. And then the last example we have here is with Netflix. So if you've ever decided that you need to change your password with Netflix for any given reason, you probably have received an SMS with a one-time code that you can use to actually update your password. Obviously, that message was sent by Twilio, but Twilio is actually doing all of the verification of your identity as you log into Netflix and update your account. So these are just some examples, and I think the common theme that you can see on this slide here are the communications and the interactions that we really power between, you know, us, the people, and the different brands that we communicate with. And what we wanted to do is very quickly show you our technology stack. As you've seen, you know, at the heart of our platform are really our communication APIs. So we allow developers to very easily integrate SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, email, chat, video, voice calls. We really have a large range of different communication channels that you can actually use and connect to, so that you can fully integrate them into your applications. And because these are APIs, you can actually start to really customize that customer journey and really make these interactions your own based on, you know, your business needs. What's interesting with our technology stack is that underlining all of our solutions is what we call the Twilio Super Network. And this actually powers all of these communications because it provides the global coverage that's needed for the phone numbers and for the messages in more than 100 countries. So that's really going to allow you to reach users no matter where they are around the world. We have built-in regulatory compliancy APIs to make sure these numbers and messages are secure and stable. We work with more than 1,500 carrier networks around the world to make sure that we're routing traffic to deliver the best quality in terms of the message deliverability and phone calls. And then finally, what we've also done is we've bundled our APIs into what we call ready-to-use applications that are based on very specific use cases. So things like identity verification that we saw with Netflix, things like message intelligence and understanding, you know, the information that's coming through a phone call automatically, marketing campaigns for marketing teams, but also engagement tools for customer support and customer service teams. We do have a fully programmable contact center called Twilio Flex, and we will talk a little bit more about that solution in the slides to come. And the last thing I want to mention here before moving on, Valériane, is that you know, our stack has really been developed for developers. We have built this from the ground up, thinking about them. And that's a common theme that you're going to see through this presentation as well. We really want to make sure that developers can get up and running as fast as possible. That's really the mindset that we have here at Twilio. We want to provide all the tools that you need to build on top of our APIs as fast and as easy as possible. So providing things like quick deploys, having access to online documentation that is constantly updated and that's really easy to consume. Having the tools that you need to maximize productivity and time to market, things like the CLI or functions that we provide within our technology stack. So Valériane, I'm going to hand it back over to you. I think you're going to be able to explain a little more in detail how these APIs really work and how we're powering these interactions.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. Let's start with a very simple use case, the case of sending and receiving SMS. What's happening here is that you do have a Twilio phone number, and so someone reaches to you, let's say a customer, and sends you an SMS. Then Twilio will let you know either if you start using webhooks or so on. Well, you can really define where each interaction goes, and so in the form of an HTTP request, it will reach to your application, and then you will be able to send Twiml back. Twiml is is a templating language based on XML that has been created by Twilio, so you can really easily use verbs like gather to get DTMF tons input, or let's say, well, anything you want, and you can just use that templating language, send it back to Twilio, and then Twilio will send the SMS and ensure its delivery for you. Let's look at a phone call, and actually it's as easy as it is to send an SMS. So basically your Twilio phone number will get an incoming call, then your app will be warned that something's coming, and then you will decide how to answer that. And of course you can also use Twiml to leverage the power of really anything we do provide, like playing sound, gathering, creating really your customer journey, because on each event you will get this webbook that will allow you to create the experience that you want, the communication experience for your users. And so let's take a look at a last example, which is a little different. That is the video. So on this case, you will probably have your backend and your front end. Then it will just request a capability token between your backend and your front end, and a WebRTC connection between your clients and the Twilio application, which will allow you to serve with a very short delay and any communication that's video and audio, of course, because you can see me and you can also hear me. And as mentioned, as Alex mentioned, communication APIs really are at the heart of Twilio. And can you imagine that at the very, very beginning of Twilio's stories years ago, there was only an API for developers to integrate phone calls into their application. And today we do support so many communication channels because we really want our developers to be able to engage with who they want, when they want, the way they want it. And especially also on the way the person they are interacting with, also on the channel that they like to use. Let's say I'm a massive Facebook Messenger user, I'll be able to only communicate using my preferred communication channel. So Alex, can you please tell us a bit more about the latest communication channel we've added to the API?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Google Business Messages. This is the latest communication API that we've actually added into our offer. And we did this because, well, I mean, we all spend a lot of time on Google. I don't know about you, Valériane, but it's the first place that I go to when I need to find something, whether that's on Google Search or on Google Maps. And I want to imagine now, imagine you're looking for something on Google or even through Google Maps, and you find the thing you're looking for, and you actually see a button that says, chat with someone directly from the store or with this brand. You can actually start a live conversation with that person or with that brand directly from your Google search. So this is what's really possible with Google Business Messages. And you can see the example in the slide here with the little image. This person is actually looking for the closest place where they can actually get vaccinated through a Google search. Once they find that place, they can actually hit the chat button, and they're sent to a chat area where they can ask questions about the availability, about the times that are open, and either behind the scenes there'll be someone from customer service, or you can actually integrate an entirely intelligent chatbot that can then route you to the right person or the right area within the company. So we've integrated the access to Google Business Managers directly into what we call our Conversations API. This basically means that you can add this channel as easily as you would for any other channel, very much in the way that you would do today with Twilio when integrating SMS or when integrating WhatsApp or Facebook, as you mentioned, Valériane. And that's the real value that we have here that we're providing. Through our Conversations API, we've built this multi-channel orchestration that allows brands to manage all their messaging channels. Like I said, SMS, MMS, WhatsApp chat, and now we have Google Business Messages. And most importantly, you can do this without having to write any additional code. So really making developers' lives as easy as possible to add on these new communication channels.
Yeah, the very big advantage of that is that if you already have experiences that you have already coded, then you can just integrate this new communication channel. And also, if you have something to build from scratch, then you won't have to code for every single communication channel, and you will also be able to have a very, very consistent experience on all your channels. And I think this is the kind of thing that matters, especially not duplicating code, because this is less to maintain, obviously. And so not having to duplicate code is also something very important in the experience we have to provide to our users and our developers that are using the Twilio platform. And this is why something new as well arrive, and this is the Content API. The Content API is a tool that lets you create your pre-configured content framework. So you do have your own communication framework, and you can share it using any rich message channel. So Alex, can you tell us a bit more about this API that's coming up?
Yes, absolutely. As you mentioned, Valériane, we want to make sure that we don't have to submit code every time we want to work with a different communication channel. And that is the whole reasoning behind Content API. What we do is we allow developers to use, as you said, a pre-configured content that will be able to be sent to rich content messages. It uses a unified framework to actually support all of these channels. So that includes rich content, so Facebook, WhatsApp, and now Google Business Messages. The idea is that you would only submit your code once instead of sending it to every single channel. And what Twilio does is it automatically translates the pre-configured content to the richest and most engaging format for the delivery channel to ensure consistency and scalability. Our goal is to allow developers to save time. I think what we've noticed over the past couple of years with the use of many different communication channels that we need to integrate into our applications, adding more channels and trying to stay consistent within that user experience isn't very easy. It increases development time. It increases management time for all these additional channels. It requires developers to really learn the nuances of multiple messaging platforms, and obviously it leads to redundancy engineering work. I think many channels, a good example is like WhatsApp. You have to go through a lot of different content approval processes to actually, get to the final stage. It can be a very disjointed process. So this is the idea of Content API. As we start to add on more channels that we're seeing everyone using that we need to integrate into our applications, we make sure that the content translation is seamless and is extended to those new channels to really minimize development, minimize the implementation time, and help create the template management across those channels.
Yes, and let's talk about the latest communication channel we'd like to explore a bit more today. No, another one, not the exactly last one, but I think we should speed up a bit because time is running. So during COVID, as you can probably imagine, and as you've probably seen, video communication have just exploded. And actually, it's very difficult to provide a good experience because you can see, let's say you have a massive success for the broadcasting you're doing, then you can see an unanticipated increase in the number of participants. If your platform isn't robust enough, then you might just be down, or you can have very huge latency, which will definitely not provide such a good experience. So actually, Twilio did something to change the way into that and make it easier. And this is Twilio Live. Alex, can you tell us a bit more about it too?
Absolutely. We have launched Twilio Live. It is a platform that allows developers to build highly immersive experiences for millions of people to connect and interact in real time. So this isn't about, one-to-one video or one-to-few video. This is really about one-to-many, one-to-millions, even if needed. What's really special about Twilio Live is that we provide, first of all, a low latency environment. I think what we do tend to see with video solutions, especially when it comes to handling, the amount of people that might participate and interact in real time, is the latency. Typical video solutions will have a latency of about 10 seconds. At Twilio, with Twilio Live, we have a latency of around 4 seconds maximum. And that's really thanks to our robust infrastructure and our secure infrastructure that we've built from the ground up. And as we have across the board with Twilio, we provide the APIs and the SDKs that you can use to fully integrate into your application. And that basically means that you can customize these immersive experiences. You get to decide the design and the layout of that video experience. You get to decide how the interactions happen at what moment with the participants. And this is something that is typically really difficult to do with out-of-the-box solutions that we find in the market today. And then, as with all our solutions, we do provide best-in-class developer toolkits, quick deploys, online documentation, all the great things that Twilio is really known for. Oh, and I think you're still on mute, Valériane.
Yeah, sorry, I was. So this is 20 minutes. We have 5 minutes left. We don't have questions so far, so I'll keep on presenting Twilio Flex. But by any means, please, if you do have questions, we're here to answer them. So we'll stop and answer your question. And also, Twilio Flex, you will get a presentation right after, which is going to be a roundtable. So feel free to interrupt us with your questions about that. But Twilio Flex is a contact center that's in the cloud. It's been launched, I think, a bit more than a year before, something like that. And there are also improvements into that area. So can you tell us a bit more about Flex One, the new solution for contact centers?
Yes, absolutely. So we've designed what we call Flex One. It's basically an API that's integrated into Twilio Flex. So as Valériane mentioned, Twilio Flex is our fully programmable contact center solution that lives in the cloud. And this API can be leveraged to easily add different communication channels into your contact center. That could be SMS, WhatsApp, chat, but we also have, as you've seen before, Google Business Messages, and we now have email as well. What's interesting with this API is that you can also integrate custom communication channels that you've potentially developed internally through Flex One. This is a common theme that we've seen through this presentation. It hasn't been as seamless, I think, in the past for developers to be able to very easily integrate the many different communications that they need into their applications. We have provided the APIs to make that, challenge as seamless as possible. And now we're integrating those APIs into our ready-to-use applications, including Twilio Flex for our contact center. Along the lines of this kind of single API, we've also updated our interface for Twilio Flex. So Twilio Flex does have an interface which is fully customizable. But we've really tried to modernize it, make it easier to use. But most importantly, we wanted it to support omni-channel conversations. The idea is that any user on Flex will be able to see all the conversations that they're having with their customer across all channels. And you can see that in the screenshot here, having a conversation through email, chat, SMS, a voice call that comes in. It's now possible for a Flex user to have a single conversation with the person behind the scenes and not lose any information along the way from all of the different communication channels that we've tried to integrate into that contact center.
Alex, I'm sorry, we do have a question from Matthias Beher. Thank you, Matthias, for your question. The question is, do you have a recommendation from the traditional telco companies' APIs? And actually, my recommendation, well, I'm working at Twilio, and we do provide a super easy API interface. So my recommendation would be make sure that the documentation fits you. If you really want to go to this kind of API, make sure that it's evolving fast as well. Otherwise, do use Twilio. That will be my advice.
That's lovely advice. Some more questions we can fit in. Are you hiring? And if so, do you want to share in the chat your form? I'm sure there are a lot of people that are joining this free event looking for more work in the API space. So definitely share that, please.
Yeah.
I just, for me, what's most exciting about Twilio is its commitment to accessibility and inclusion. Like, yes, it's always been an example of an API first company, but in the developer experience, just briefly, how is that brought up in the different stages, and how is that considered, the accessibility and the diversity, equity, inclusion?
Actually, I can speak only from my experience, but diversity is super, super important at Twilio. Twilio also is an anti-racist company, and I'm just like, I'm a woman, I'm Black, and I do feel it. I'm staying here in this company, so really, I think Twilio is top notch on that area. And there was a second part to your question. Maybe Alex, you want to add something?
Yeah, just how it's put in the development process, how it's considered in the development or marketing process. At what stage is it brought up or discussed? Because there's obviously something intentional going on.
Yeah, that is correct. And I totally echo what Valériane has already said. I think, diversity inclusion is such a huge part of the culture here at Twilio. I've been with the company for 8 months now, and I can honestly say that I've never really worked for a company that has taken that subject so seriously. And it reflects through the work that we do. I sit on the product marketing team, and we go through courses to make sure that our writing and our presentations and the way that we speak and communicate really includes that diversity and the inclusion of everybody. It's ingrained in our culture, and I think that's how it is reflected through our documentation, through our marketing, and then through the products that are actually pushed to our users.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
and to add just a bit more extra information, since the team is diverse itself, it's already taken into account in the development process, because the people are confronted to it. It's not like you're gonna discover it because it's only been a team of I'm sorry about that, white male coding on a product that's gonna be used by women or disabled people or whatever. The team is diverse, so it's coded by design because they are encountering the situation while developing products.
It's really important, and definitely I'll share it in the chat, but when Shanae Chapman talked about the inclusive developer experience at the last API Days London, she specifically cited Twilio. So that's a really good thing to hear. Thank y'all so much, and thanks for doing the good work, and thanks to Twilio for being the rare gem in this space. So thanks y'all so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.
Thanks, Valériane.